I'm Heinbach. Good to have you back. I'm heading out to Willem Twee Studios in Den Bosch. The first time I heard about Willem Twee was in a Fact magazine Against the Clock video, and the clean and beautiful aesthetics of that studio intrigued me. I've heard quite a bit. I've heard quite a lot of positive things about Willem Twee from other musicians, so I'm off to the train.
Can you tell me a bit about this beautiful analog computer over here?
I got this machine in '88 because I found in a second-hand shop, I found this booklet about the analog machine. And I thought that could be a nice addition to my work with the arps. See, so you have two modes in the analog computer. Repetitive operation, which is the smaller capacitors, in which the frequency of the whole system is going into audio. And it will then be also better to have a visual on the oscilloscope. But you can also do it in low frequency range, see? And then you can, of course, use it as a control voltage, for instance, and be able to write it on a pen writer, just for fun. It's such an open system, so you can take out your signals anywhere in the patch or insert signals. So the system now responds to an external if I have an audio signal from something, especially from these machines, I use it as an audio signal, but at the same time I split it and use it as a control voltage. And then you discover other information in the signal, because you already noticed, of course, that the richness of these signals is incredible, and it's DC. So now if you original, and then this is the sound from the oscillator. So you can make this spickling kind of
shimmering. You're using these bandpass filters, Rot and Schwarz, right?
Yeah,
they're passive, right?
Yeah, auxiliary number 1, and put them in parallel to these at once, but the outputs individually. And then the second one is for the ring modulator. It's actually a modified frequency analyzer from Electro-Harmonix, you know. Just cut a trace and connected it to an external signal, which is way more stable and precise than the internal oscillator. You can do it also in, you know, make these kinds of things. Being more interested in the original electronic music from the 50s, which I found very intriguing. I couldn't get that with synthesizers, you know, with modular synthesizers. It sounds too synthesizer-ish. That's why I decided to go full into this ones. Let's say this is the type of oscillator with which Stockhausen made his first study. But it was with one oscillator only, and then, you know, recording, other frequency, recording, etc. So I'm a really lazy guy, so I thought, yeah, let's have 12, you know, at once, and then get it on the system. Make these kinds of tones. And it's just a question of time, of deciding which frequencies you want. And then you can do those tricks which I learned from old people. Make bells or make your own envelope. Then I said, well, it would be nice to have also the possibility of having pulses like this. And then one of our volunteers just said, oh, let me make it. And he made, let's see, this is number 5. So I can switch it to pulse with adjustable pulse width, which is really cool. So now I have pulses. See? But of course you have these wonderful sine waves, which can then of course also be processed. That was why I understood so well your idea of how to get it into moving music, because normally the signals are static, you know. So for me that was the solution to do that, to have a lot of possibilities. Just I call it static synthesis, just put it there, and then I say then the phase of dynamic synthesis, there where you move it in time and frequency, loudness, space. Here you see one of the first versions of the WDR studio with those Rigitischen. Stockhausen used to call to the technical department downstairs and say, darf ich 500 Hertz bitte? Und dann kam das so. And then it came on the desk, you know. One night I had this dream that good old Stockhausen told me, du brauchst eine Rigitisch, also you need some sort of a mixing desk. And that became my savior. I was able now to express my music, my movements directly from here to through the hands to the sound.
Here you've got 3 tape recorders, so you can do 3 tape loops at once also, or is it just for recording mostly?
Recording and loops and montage, you know, muziek concreet. Sometimes I do a special tape course, and then we record in this room. I have a box with, flutes, kalimbas, and then record it, and then I just cut the pieces of recording and give it to the people, and they say, okay, let's do some cutting, and then we play it together, and do a bit of improvisation on the mixing desk. And every time it's crazy. Yeah. People forget the time, they are so happy in working with the tape, and then not having to look on a computer screen. Yeah, these ones also used in the WDR studio. This whole tower is 70 kilos, so it's great for live performance. It is a time-consuming method of working, but it gives you time to reflect on what you're doing. Mostly I do these kind of connections by using the original and then feeding it to the pre-fade aux, which enables you to put the original down and have the processed version connected. So then you can alternate between originals and processed versions. So this one, for instance, it's quite a narrow band. See, it's really nice. And then because it's again on the desk, you can feedback it. So even making the band smaller by that feedback process. This one is more or less like a frequency curtain. High pass. So you can make your own pass band by, and it sounds so fantastic. I go for a quick smoke.
Yes, please. I'll just do.
Yeah, just have fun. You know how it works.
Yes, this is amazing.
Good.
So we build up like this little cloud of rhythms from pulses, and now I'm adding harmonies and melodies, but I'm also using one LFO that goes really low to make the VU meters rhythm.
Can we use this as an answer note? The other version, like something done. Here we go. Now they're conversing, I think. Let's see if this works. That was a great ending. Lovely. Thank you for having me here. This is, of course, an utterly amazing experience for me. I've read about a lot what you wrote about the whole test equipment, and now I know that you're also telesonic. That makes it extra special for me. Both rooms are breathing history. How did you come about creating this lovely space?
I met Hans a couple of years back because we run a festival down here as well in the concert hall, and Hans was there as a visitor. Then Hans said, "Yeah, do you want to see my studio?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Didn't know or expect anything, and then on the first floor in his bedroom was like, a large part of this equipment. We were standing there with the two of us like this, and it was like
It was a bit crowded.
yeah. We had this space as a small meeting room, extra dressing room for the concert hall. And I went to the director, like, is it an idea to start a studio here with all the equipment of Hans? And he was like, yeah, let's order a moving truck and let's get started. And we just started really low key with inviting some people we knew over, and started with the first, Hans started with the first courses, and so things got rolling and it got more serious. And
what year was that when you started out here?
2015.
2000. Oh, so it's all so new.
Yeah, relatively
Awesome.
new.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. From 2012 on, I was already making plans how to try to make such a studio in a way, but yeah, it was too grotesque, to get that done in my home. But now with this construction, it's fantastic. And then we received a grant from the province and from the city. And we had funding for 3 years to really build it out. And at that time, the equipment from there, the other studio, which originally stood at Worm at that time, the director of SEM, from which the instruments are, could no longer go on there. And we invited him to join us, to be able to have the whole history of electronic music as an instrument there and available for everyone to work with, Not as a museum, but as a living workspace for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what you can see. What I felt like when I played this is there is a thought behind it, how this whole thing can play together and how you can play it. It's put together like an orchestra in a way, with all the different parts playing their own role.
Yeah, it's 30 years of my life here, but it's still so much to explore. And also when musicians come here, they have specific questions, you know, they'll say, can I do this or can I do that? And sometimes that are questions I wouldn't think about, you know. Yeah. So they really inspire me, and sometimes even someone makes an exploration or something, and then we say, "Yoo-hoo, we make a party," because you know we made another step.
Yeah, we also get surprised every now and then what people come up with and what comes out of the studio. Still surprising. Yeah.
So it's available like for rent to come here and.
Yeah, you can rent it in parts of 4 hours. And you can also rent it for a day, then you can work in the evening also.
When other artists visit, is there one thing that they always hone in?
At first, most people haven't seen this in their lifetime, you know? People have seen synthesizers, huge modulars or something, but this is kind of, it get things done in the mind, you know? And at first they are a bit like, ooh, what to do, but then I show them things, and already starting with the sine waves and make mixes, then people start to get in sort of mood and get that feeling of the 50s sound with a bit of tape reverb, etc., and ring modulation. And then the first hours are recorded, you know. It's really
just press rec
and go.
Yeah, that's also what I love, that you've got the tape integrated in here, and you can just, so many possibilities to take this and then process it further on here, which is, in my own experience, it's not easy to get the workflow for that done. I mean, I use that with small cassettes because I still have to like integrate my tape machines with that. It's all these different steps that it takes to build this up into a functional thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then both this studio and the other studio is, of course, completely modular. So people also take, for instance, their own system, Eurorack system, to plug it in somewhere and process it. People are very happy with the filters here because they have such a specific rich texture.
It's like you're in the finest Scottish malt whiskey. All these different tastes.
Even people working with their own brewed samples and then just filtering it and then re-record it or transferring it to tape and then digitize it again. Or there's so much possibilities or options. So it's not only like this vast analog wall, but it's you can use it for a lot of different purposes. Also the combination with the concert hall, with the pipe organ and the grand piano, or the hall itself as an acoustic room. And even we're still, or at least that's how I feel it, like we're still
scratching the surface, right?
The surface, yeah.
Especially if you got a combination of all these means. And is there something you would like to explore in the future? Like if you get all these means?
My dream absolutely is to have someone play on the inside of the grand piano, you know. It's really that kind of techniques. We close mic it, different mics, take it upstairs to the studio, do real-time processing like filtering, ring modulation, mixing, and then real-time put it back onto an 8-speaker system around the audience, you know. So you have that really electroacoustic vibe. That would be
so
crazy.
Prepared piano through the test equipment, live processed, feedback into the room through 8 speakers. To
spatialize the sound, also make more longer resonances, etc. You know, So I'm looking for an artist that is open to that experiment. Actually.
Nice. Lovely.
We still haven't even connected both studios together, which is also an option. And but it's a massive. It will be a massive instrument then.
It's like fungi. you know, like fungi that build build their roots underneath and pop up.
Yeah.
So, and it's a bit like vice versa fungi. You've got this here, and then they build the roots to connect each other.
Yeah. Once in the 2 weeks, we have a soldering collective coming here together to exchange ideas, work on their own designs or Eurorec systems,
and even built for our studios some things like the sign to pulse wave. And look here, 16 VCAs, simple VCAs, to be able to do a lot of controlling here.
That's cheating.
It is. It is. It's a bit of a halfway.
No, it's no purism is necessary. No. It's all like I think purism is not something that as a composer you should care for usually.
Especially the young people that are growing up by making music in the box. They are confronted with this, doing things manually without a screen. Using their ears, and they feel the contact by doing a sort of gesture, and what it sounds like. And most of the time, it's very effective for them. They open up their minds, it goes a little lock there, the hatch.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Haptic feedback goes a long way in music. A lot.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for this. This has been an absolute pleasure and a true experience.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And the seagulls are back, this time synthesized on an ARP 2600. But we'll have to visit Studio Twee at another time because this video has already gotten quite long. Thank you all for watching, and thanks to everybody who supports what I do on Patreon. Without your support, this video would have not been possible to make. If you have any questions, do leave no comments below or visit the subreddit. See you in the next one. Bye.